My dear brothers and sisters of CARICOM, I speak to you as chairman of the Caribbean community. On Friday, the 11th of September 2020, the CARICOM heads of government met in special emergency session to be updated on the situation in our Caribbean community with respect to the COVID-19 pandemic and the options for a regional travel bubble. Heads of government acknowledged that the past 6 months have been very challenging period globally and regionally, as countries have struggled to cope with the effects of the novel coronavirus. We, the heads, noted that for CARICOM, it had been particularly difficult given the high dependence in most of our economies on the travel and tourism sectors. We, the heads of government, took a major step towards resuscitating these sectors when we agreed to institute a travel bubble among CARICOM member states and associate members, which meet the agreed criteria from Friday of this week, Friday, September the 18th. In agreeing to this, the heads of government were guided by a comprehensive report from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARICOM, which provided recommendations on how the bubble would operate and laid out the eligibility criteria for countries to participate. These criteria included that countries would be categorized ranging from those with no cases to those which had low, medium, high, and very high risk with respect to the rate of positive cases over a 14-day period. The level of risk would be determined by the number of positive cases per 100,000 of the population within a 14-day period. Only those countries with no cases and those in the low-risk category would be allowed to participate in the bubble. Relevant data will be assessed by CARICOM to advise on participation in the bubble. The heads of government agreed that travelers from countries within the bubble would be allowed entry without being subjected to PCR testing prior to arrival and would also not have to undergo quarantine restrictions. Travelers may be subjected to screening on arrival. Initially, Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be included in the bubble as they presently meet the criteria. Other member states and associate members will be allowed to participate when they meet the criteria. The full requirements and protocols would be made available to the public and would be accessed both locally and regionally through the different media platforms. Heads of government look forward to more CARICOM countries joining the travel bubble as the region learns to live with this pandemic safely without destroying lives or livelihoods. The heads of government also received a report from Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, who is the representative of our Caribbean community on the High-Level Facilitation Council of the Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator, which had its first meeting last Thursday, September the 10th. This is a global body which has been established to ensure rapid development, scale up and equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics. Prime Minister Harris reported that the Council agreed to provide sustained political leadership to galvanize and harness broad international support for the ACT accelerator, including in upcoming fora, very important fora, such as the United Nations General Assembly, the G20, the G7, and the IMF World Bank Group meetings. Heads of government noted that the Council also agreed to advocate in support of the ACT Accelerator investment case in order to secure, as a matter of urgency, the financial resources required to scale up for impact and change the course of the pandemic. Heads of government further noted that the Council agreed to work to ensure that all countries and populations have early, affordable, and equitable access to the new vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics. This distress was particularly important for the community, as so many member states and associate members were highly dependent on the travel and tourism sectors. These two issues are very important to our community, the bubble and participation in the ACT Accelerator. As chairman, I will bring you further updates as necessary and desirable. Thank you and have a wonderful day.